The Future of American Orchestras, a discussion of the problems and prospects facing American symphony orchestras, their music, and their audiences' expectations. This timely conversation examines trends and challenges facing youth, community, collegiate, and professional orchestras. In this segment, panelists respond to a question from the audience regarding younger audiences.
At City Opera, we have, in talking about rock and roll or rap, we have something called Opera is Elementary, and they go into the schools, and they teach Madame Butterfly, but they don't teach them with the music that you know from Puccini. They tell them the story, and the children write their own. So they have the basic outline of the story, and the children write their own libretto, and they write their own music. So you can see it on the website of New York City Opera. They have the children learning the story of Madame Butterfly in a language that they understand or that means something to them. And then, after they've put on this performance for the parents and the schools, then they come to the opera and see the way Puccini did it. And they all say how wonderful it is, and they knew this story, and it was not exactly the way we sang it, but so I think rock and roll or however you can get to children, I think it's a wonderful way to bring them to the understanding of classical music.
Baltimore Symphony just did something which again required union negotiations to have a side-by-side with community musicians. So I think that's part of the future is, again, relationships, as David keeps saying. And actually, we had struggles with the union to have our students play side-by-side at the La Jolla Playhouse. So for whatever reason, there's a territorial protectionism that's going on. And I think it goes on both with the management of large orchestras, and it goes on with musicians. So we at the San Diego Youth Symphony have the advantage of not being dependent upon ticket sales in the same way that Henry was describing. And we're beginning to do work in communities aimed at actually developing community orchestras, but starting with young people, starting with after-school programs, trying to get music back in the schools by demonstrating to school administrators that haven't had it on their site for years and years and years how valuable it can be for the students' experience in all respects. Out of that, creating youth orchestras in those communities, but all of it through a collaborative process where we're working with partners in the community. And I think that for any community orchestra, it's important to think about that dynamic of where are you performing? Who are the neighbors of that performance site? What is it that you're bringing to that community by doing those performances?
Great. If you can join me in a round of applause for each member of our panel, David Cizak, Duluth, Edward, Janet, Henry. I think you guys did good. That was great.